Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition, all the daily AI news you need in around 5 minutes. We kick off today with the latest rumors out of OpenAI, where that company is expected to launch not only their next generation video model Sora 2, but also a social app for AI-generated video to go alongside it. There is actually a lot to unpack here. This is more than just a model release, so let's dig in. Sources speaking with the Wall Street Journal said that the model and its companion app would be arriving in the coming days. In fact, you might have noticed this set of new commercials that OpenAI dropped yesterday, seemingly as a marketing campaign. Some think that they are actually doing double duty, not just advertising ChatGPT, but sneakily showing off the video generation capabilities of the new Sora. Writes Mark Kretschmann, "It certainly doesn't look generated, but some are arguing that Sora 2 could be indistinguishable from real video. Some broke down the video frame by frame and thought they found evidence it was AI generated. And what people are excited about is that each video appears to show camera motion that would be difficult, bordering on impossible, even if you were using a drone. In the second ad showing a man cooking Italian food for his date, we zoom out from an extreme close-up through a cluttered kitchen, out the window, and across the street." Summing up the feelings of many, software engineer Joelson Rebello wrote, "If this really is Sora 2, nothing will be the same anymore." Now, the scoop from Wired is that alongside the new Sora, OpenAI is poised to release a short-form video app powered by the new model. The app, which features a vertical video feed with swipe-to-scroll navigation, appears to closely resemble TikTok, except all of the content is AI-generated. There's a For You-style page powered by a recommendation algorithm. On the right side of the feed, a menu bar gives users the option to like, comment, or remix a video. The app reportedly does not allow users to upload photos or videos, with the only source of content being Sora 2. However, users will be able to verify their likeness and have themselves appear in generated clips. Other users can also generate clips featuring verified likenesses, but users will receive a notification when clips featuring them are generated. Wired continued, "OpenAI appears to be betting that the Sora 2 app will let people interact with AI-generated video in a way that fundamentally changes their experience of the technology, similar to how ChatGPT helped users realize the potential of AI-generated text." And apparently this is more than just showing off a technology, but also a business recognition of the opportunity of the moment. Wired continues, "Internally, sources say there's also a feeling that President Trump's on-again, off-again deal to sell TikTok's US operations has given OpenAI a unique opportunity to launch a short-form video app, particularly one without close ties to China." Now, not everyone is thrilled about this. In fact, there has been an explosive conversation around the lamentability of short-form brain rot ever since Meta announced its Vibes feed last week. You'll remember I did a whole segment of an episode that was all about how much people did not like the idea of Meta having an AI video-only feed. Now, as OpenAI apparently gets ready to release something like this, we'll get to see how much of that was about the format versus how much of that was people just not liking Meta. Interestingly, in the wake of all of that controversy, OpenAI insider Rune had posted, "There is a moral panic around short-form video content in my opinion." He added that he understands the concern, but that he's just not certain that hours on TikTok are meaningfully different to hours in front of the TV. He said, "I basically agree with Postman on the nature of video and its corrupting influence on running a civilization well as opposed to text-based media. I'm just not sure that it's so much worse than being glued to your TV, and I'm definitely not sure that AI slop is worse than human slop." Ahmad Osman noted that Rune appeared to be breaking the narrative on X a few days ahead of this key announcement from OpenAI. With the report that we're getting this app from OpenAI, Ahmad said, "Bro was running narrative ops." Now, one other interesting dimension of the story has to do with the copyright arrangements that OpenAI will be putting in place. Sources said that the company has begun notifying talent agencies and studios about the product over the past week. The communication notified rights holders that they will need to explicitly opt out, otherwise their intellectual property will be included in the generated videos. With the small nuance being that recognizable public figures won't appear without explicit permission, but fictional characters will require an opt-out. The debate around that could be an episode all on its own. But look, I think that we are very close to actually getting this app, so I'm going to pause it here. We will come back and talk about all the implications when we see what the thing actually is and we get people's actual first reactions to it. Moving on to our next story, more layoff news seemingly related to AI. German airline Lufthansa said they would be eliminating the equivalent of 4,000 full-time roles by 2030. That's around 4% of their 102,000 strong workforce. However, this is a highly targeted downsizing, with Lufthansa aiming to make the cuts primarily from their 10,000 administrative roles. The layoffs are also a sharp change in direction, as Lufthansa stated that they would be adding 10,000 new hires over the course of the year back in January. In a press release, the company said, "The Lufthansa Group is reviewing which activities will no longer be necessary in the future, for example, due to duplication of work. In particular, the profound changes brought about by digitalization and the increased use of artificial intelligence will lead to greater efficiency in many areas and processes. Like Accenture's downsizing announcement last week, this doesn't appear to be a case of a struggling company using AI to mask a round of belt-tightening. After a troubled year in 2024, where operating margins dropped to 4.4%, Lufthansa has guided that they expect margins to reach 10% by 2028, up from their strategic target of 8%. They also expect to see 2.5 billion euros of free cash flow by that date. The stock was up 0.9% on the news to bolster a year-to-date gain of 25. Now, Lufthansa claims that this is purely a restructuring effort to get ahead of reduced workforce needs as they accelerate AI adoption. And we are certainly going to be keeping an eye to see whether this type of announcement, i.e. forward telegraphing of AI shifts, becomes a trend. Lastly today, a bit of regulatory news. California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed AI safety bill SB 53. The bill is a watered-down version of last year's SB 1047, which was vetoed by Newsom in September. SB 53 requires leading AI companies to report the safety protocols they use in producing models and disclose the highest degree risks posed by the models. The law is largely concerned with catastrophic risks like aiding in bioweapons production or facilitating mass casualty events. In addition, the law strengthens whistleblower protections for employees of AI labs. California State Senator Scott Wiener, the chief sponsor of the bill, said, "This is a groundbreaking law that promotes both innovation and safety. The two are not mutually exclusive, even though they are often pitted against each other to be." Now, last year's SB 1047 featured a huge amount of very public pushback, while this process has been quite a bit quieter by comparison. Anthropic came out in favor of the bill, while Google and OpenAI opposed it. Meta was on the fence, not endorsing the bill, but giving Newsom a soft green light to sign it. And there are still some concerns. Colin McCune, the head of government affairs at Andreessen Horowitz, posted, "We're fighting for a national AI strategy that gives little tech a fair shot and keeps the US in the lead. California's AI bill SB 53 includes some thoughtful provisions that account for the distinct needs of startups, but it misses an important mark by regulating how the technology is developed, a move that risks squeezing out startups, slowing innovation, and entrenching the biggest players." As well as railing against the idea of state-by-state regulation, Colin argued that the rules should govern how AI models are used rather than how they are trained. Still, the bill was drafted explicitly as a compromise. Senator Wiener worked with California's Joint California Policy Working Group on AI Frontier Models, which was set up last year following the veto. That group was chaired by Dr. Fei-Fei Li and includes numerous industry stakeholders. Overall, Newsom said that in passing the bill, quote, "California has proven that we can establish protections to protect our communities while also ensuring that the growing AI industry continues to thrive. This legislation strikes that balance." A last note before we move over to our main episode. Yesterday was one of those days where we had two very distinct big stories that could easily be a main all on their own. The first, which is what I went with, is all about Claude 4.5 and the expansion of the autonomy frontier for agents. But there is a ton about agentic commerce and OpenAI's new checkout feature in ChatGPT that really deserves its own space as well. I decided that rather than crowding that into the headlines today, the plan is currently for it to be the main episode for tomorrow. Although if we get that Sora 2 app or something new and big, who knows? Suffice it to say that sometime this week we will get into all of that. For now though, that's going to do it for today's actual headlines. Next up, the main episode.